What's going on, people? Welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner Live for October 6th, 2019. Going to be talking about NFL business, week 5 action. Going to be talking about the blue and white scrimmage from yesterday with the Sixers, and then obviously the Triple G Derevyanchenko fight from last night, which was the banger. And I'll give you my thoughts on that. So, without further ado, let's get into the Triple G Derevyanchenko fight. That was a both of those guys lost a little bit of something in that fight, in my opinion. And this is the first time that I felt as though Triple G was gifted a decision. I felt as though both guys came out, showed up, showed out. Triple G, he did a lot of good work in that fight, but I thought that Sergey did a lot of good work as well. He he really came out like he had a purpose after the third round, and he looked as though he had the cut on his eye after he got knocked down once in the first or second round by Triple G, and then he got cut over his eye with a jab, I believe, from Triple G, and then he came out in the third round and he looked like he had a purpose and he had a mission, and he knew the urgency and the gravity of the situation. He came out to fight. He didn't back down. He wasn't no punk, and he started throwing punches in bunches. And I don't think Triple G really experienced that before. I thought that the fight was 12 round fight. I thought it was 7-5 for Sergey, in my opinion, but I had it a tie because of the knockdown in the first round. Without that knockdown in the first round, I thought that Sergey won the fight over Triple G. That's just my opinion. I'm a fan of Triple G. I I don't know too much about Sergey, but I do know that he had a lot of hype coming behind his 13-1, even his 13-0 record before he lost to Danny Jacobs in a very good fight. So he was the mandatory challenger for the IBF belt at 160, and I thought he showed up and really made a case for why he should be the belt holder. It's a shame he didn't get the nod. Maybe it's because Triple G has the contract with the zone and he's the house fighter, but it is what it is. I really enjoyed the fight. I thought it was a great fight, and I really hope that they have a rematch if possible, because I don't think Triple G is going to fight Canelo again. I think Canelo is kind of doing his own thing. You don't know what him and Oscar are doing from moment to moment. He's actually about to fight Sergey Kovalev at 175 in December, I believe. And that's a very dangerous fight for him. So, you know, at least he's doing something that's of substance if he's not fighting Triple G. And we'll see how that turns out. I'm actually looking forward to that fight. So we just had Sean Porter and Earl Spence last week, and then we had Triple G and Derevyanchenko this week. So we've had back-to-back really good weeks of boxing, and hopefully they really keep this up, because this is what boxing needs. So let me know your thoughts on that. Leave it in the comments, and let me go ahead and get forward to the Sixers blue and white scrimmage. I was down there with Chris the Casual and 007. You can catch us every Tuesday. We won't be on this Tuesday because we'll be down at the Sixers preseason game against the, I think, Guangzhou Lions. Um, so we'll be down to Sixers preseason game on Tuesday. But a lot of takeaways from this scrimmage. First and foremost, we got to see, Triple G. He looked like. Check out the Breakfast Club interview too. He was talking about thought he lost a little bit of power, because Charlemagne actually asked him that in the interview, and he was very honest. So check out the interview too, Manny. I definitely concur with that comment. But we were down to Sixers blue and white scrimmage, and a couple of takeaways from that. First off, Ben Simmons was knocking down 3-pointers like it was nothing in the pregame warmups. I was highly impressed, very encouraged by that. Need to see it in the game though. I didn't see him take a lot of shots in that scrimmage. He took like 1 or 2 jump shots. Looked fine, but beyond that, he didn't take a lot of jumpers in that game. So I need to see that in the preseason and hopefully in the first 10 games of the season. Second takeaway, Embiid, he looked cut. He looked cut up. He looked in shape. He looked like he lost those 20 pounds for sure. He looks like he's ready to go for this year. Third thing, Al Horford. He looks like he's in mid-season form. with that defense, with that versatility, and that shot from the outside, he can stretch the floor. You are not going to be able to drag Joel Embiid out to the 3-point line with the stretch four anymore, because now you can send Al Horford out there to the 3-point line and say, okay, we'll guard your stretch four, your stretch five, or whatever, and we'll leave Embiid down in the post. Now, what you going to do against our defense? That's a big thing. And then secondly, with Al Horford, when Embiid goes and sits down on the bench, that second unit looked very good with Al playing the five. So now, not only do you not lose that versatility with Embiid in the post, now you can not lose that offensive production or defensive production when Embiid goes to sit down. They can no longer take advantage of that, in my opinion. We'll see how that works out, but that's what I saw with my own two eyes. So that's going to change everything. Jimmy Butler left out to go to Miami this offseason, but I feel as though even though Jimmy, in my opinion, is the better overall player than Al Horford brings a certain versatility to this team that makes them a slightly better overall team than they were with Jimmy Butler. Because now all of a sudden you're not losing that point production, and that plus minus total is not going down the drain whenever Embiid sits down. So that's huge. So I'm really looking forward to the season now. Season start kicks off October 22nd for the NBA. So it's about that time. I'm not looking at the MLB playoffs, obviously, because the Phillies ain't there, so I don't really give a fuck. But basketball is about to be here. Eagles, they're starting to round into form. So it's a lot to look forward to in Philly sports right now. And the Flyers, before I get to NFL Week 5 business, the Flyers opened up the season this Friday in Prague in the Czech Republic and went ahead and got a 4-3 victory against the Chicago Blackhawks. Very good job by them. And Travis Konecny looks like he has ascended. Hopefully, this is a great sign of things to come, but he looked sensational. He made some moves. He was like Michael Jackson and Thriller out there. He was just putting the moves on them boys, man. He was just putting the moves on them, and he's just scoring at will. It was highly impressive, and I'm really excited to see what Taylor Hart looks like as well. I mean, oh my gosh, Carter Hart, our goalie, and hopefully this is the sign that we actually have a goalie for the first time since Roman Cechmanek, like eons ago, or Ron Hextall. I'm really excited for this season for three Philly sports teams. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get to NFL Week 1. What's up, Rod? Thanks for tuning in, man. Let me go ahead and get to NFL Week 1 real quick and go over these games and give my picks and breakdowns for these games. So first on the docket, my Oakland Raiders going against the Chicago Bears. They're playing in Oakland. Chicago favored by 6.5 points. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. And I'll tell you that because let me adjust this microphone real quick. Turn this down a little bit. There we go. Let me know if the mic's too loud. This is a tough one because the Bears, they don't have no offense. They can't move the ball very well at all, even with Mitchell Trubisky, the GOAT, in there behind center. But now I don't know if he's even playing today, but they just can't move the ball that well. And I think they're better off with their backup in there, in my opinion, because you have Allen Robinson, who, when he's healthy, he's a very good receiver. And you have the second-year running back. Is he a second-year running? I think a rookie running back, David Montgomery. He's really good. You have Tariq Cohen. Taylor Gabriel, I don't know if he still has a concussion or not. And then you have Trey Burton. You have some weapons there, but the quarterback play has been their issue. But, they have that defense. Danny Trevathan, obviously Khalil Mack, and Hicks, and all those boys on that defensive side. So I believe that they're probably going to get the Raiders issues in pass protection. And I'm picking the Bears to win this game. I don't know if they're going to win it by a touchdown, but I do think the Bears are going to win this game in Oakland. Next on the docket, I'll get to the Eagles lastly because that's the Eagles. But next on the docket, Cardinals playing at Cincinnati. The Bengals are favored by 3 points. What do you know? These are two bad teams. If the Bengals are favored, that tells you something. 3 point favorites. The Cardinals, the O has to go. The O has to go. The Cardinals are 0-3-1, and the Bengals are 0-4. That is not good news for any fan of those two teams. But the O has to go, hopefully. I hmm, I don't know if I would favor Cincinnati by 3. I know they're playing at home, but I think the Cardinals have, if I can even say this, more consistency on offense. I believe that they have more weapons. Without AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, good tight end. John Ross is out for the season now, and all they really have is Tyler Boyd, and they have the running backs Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard, but they really don't have too much firepower on offense compared to the Cardinals. They have David Johnson, obviously a top, maybe even a top 5 running back. Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk. They have some weapons in that spread offense. So I might have to go with the Cardinals on this one. Next on the docket, Bills at the Titans. Titans favored by 3 points. And leave your thoughts in the comments below about each game or whatever game that you have in mind that maybe you disagree with or that may interest you or whatnot. Bills at the Titans. Titans favored by 3 points. I like the Bills in this one. That Bills defense is for real, and they find a way to just make games ugly. They made the game very ugly for the Patriots last week. And I know it's a divisional game, and divisional games are always tough, but the Patriots just they seemed as though Tom Brady had a bad day. They made him. They went up 13-0, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm thinking they're going to steamroll this team, and then it's just nothing. The Bills just shut that shit down, and they made it a tough game. So I think they're a contender for maybe not for the Super Bowl, but definitely for the playoffs because Sean McDermott, he has those boys flying on defense. They are not playing. So I think that they're going to give Mariota a tough time as well as give that run game with Henry some problems. So I'm picking the Bills to win this game actually in the upset according to the Vegas line. Next on the docket, the Buccaneers playing at the Saints. New Orleans favored by 3 points. This is what's up, Chris? Thanks for tuning in. This is another tough game. We're having some divisional games here, and this is not the last divisional game either. Anytime you have these games, you have two teams that know each other very well. So even though I believe that the Buccaneers may have the more offensively explosive team at this point, they're finding themselves. The Saints have seen them, they know them, and they're going to make it an ugly game. That, especially with that Saints defense in the dome. I'm actually going to go with the Buccaneers on the road to win this game, but I just they're going to have a tougher time than Vegas thinks that the Saints are going to have a tougher time than Vegas thinks they're going to have, favoring them by 3 at home. And that says a lot that they're only favoring them by 3 at home. So I'm going with the Buccaneers. Next on the docket, the Vikings versus the New York Giants. Minnesota on the road favored by 5.5. I don't know how you can do that as inconsistent as Minnesota has been playing, but whatever. The Giants, they're looking better with Daniel Dimes Jones, whatever his nickname is now. You know, he's better than Eli. He's mobile. He's able to get her out the pocket and make some things happen, even if his line isn't playing up to par. He has Sterling Shepard, Saquon Barkley. He might be another week out from coming back from that high ankle sprain. So they still have Wayne Gallman filling in for him. And then you have Evan Ingram, but outside, Golden Tate came back from the suspension. So we're not going to know what this Giants team is going to look like until today, obviously. Guys are coming back from suspension and injury soon. But this Vikings team, as inconsistent as they've been, Danny Dimes. Yeah, about that. As inconsistent as the Vikings have been, they still have, in my opinion, and Matt pointed this out, one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the league right now, in Dalvin Cook. He's lighting it up. I wish I drafted him for my fantasy team. I have Christian McCaffrey, so I'm good. But I'd much rather have both on my fantasy team because he's going off right now. He's catching the ball off the backfield. He's running the ball for yards. This is really he's really hard to stop. So I think I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game on the road, playing in New York. Next game on the docket, another divisional game. It's going to be tough because the Ravens just had a divisional game last week against those doo-doo Browns. And I told people that they had to watch out because it's a divisional game. And the Browns came out, they messed around, and they beat the Ravens 40-25, I believe. So the Ravens are going on the road to play the Steelers in a game they have to make up. They can't keep losing divisional games. They're favored by 3 in Pittsburgh. I think that they beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I think they're a better team. I believe that defense is going to come out. They're going to be hungry. They're going to want to make up for last week's defeat. They got showed up, and it wasn't a good look for them. And the Steelers, with I think Kyle Randolph, whatever, their rookie QB or their second year QB, they've looked better, but and that defense has gotten better, but I don't know if they're ready to beat a team of the Ravens caliber. So I'm going with the Ravens in this one. Next on the docket, oh my goodness, the Patriots are playing the Washington Foreskins in Washington, and what? The Patriots are favored by 16.5 points. I'm damn. I don't know if I'm going to pick them to cover this spread. I'm definitely going to pick them to win, but to cover that spread, damn, they're really shitting on Washington. But I can't blame them because they are a hot mess, a dumpster fire with gasoline being poured on it. I don't know if there's much to say about this game. I'm picking the Patriots to win. And we'll see how good Tom Brady does if he bounces back from last week against the Bills. I think he will. I think that Edelman's going to have a good game. I believe that Philip Dorsett will probably have a bounce back game, which is why I'm starting him in my other fantasy league. So if you play fantasy football, Philip Dorsett might be a good flex play, maybe a sleeper play in your leagues. Next on the docket, the Jacksonville Jaguars playing at the Panthers. Panthers favored by 3.5 points. Nick Chubb has been running the ball hard. Browns have been good. Yeah, they're slowly coming into their own. Nick Chubb went off. He had that one run last week. He reached like 22.5 miles an hour. He was freaking out the gates, dog. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that game. I'm very interested to see what they do. That's the Monday night game. I'll get to that. But yeah, the Jaguars at the Panthers. Panthers favored by 3.5 points. This is a tough game. This is one of those trap games. Carolina, you would think they should win, but man, I think I'm going to pick Carolina just and I don't believe Jalen Ramsey is playing in this game, but especially if he's not playing this game, I think I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers just for the fact that they'll be able to pass a little bit. The mustache is strong with that quarterback that's replacing Nick Foles right now down in Jacksonville, and I think they're going to be able to pull out a highly contested game. I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one. Next game on the docket: Falcons versus the Texans. Texans favored by 4 points. I'm going with the Texans on this one. They lost some close games this year, and I keep saying that. I keep repeating myself on that one. But the Texans, they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game. Falcons are inconsistent. They have weapons on offense, obviously, but their defense ain't that good. And the Texans, I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson, he's a real one. And I think him and Nuck are going to get that connection going, and they're going to do some things on offense. I'm going with the Texans in this game. Another divisional game. It's like 4 divisional games this week. Broncos versus the Chargers. Chargers favored by 5 points. Broncos are 0-4, man. They're bad, dog. They're very bad this year. Let me know what you guys think about the Broncos, the Bengals, the Cardinals, and obviously the Miami Hurricanes. We're not going to give them the dignity of calling them the Dolphins. They're the Miami Hurricanes. Matter of fact, we shouldn't even call them the Miami Hurricanes. We should call them the Dayton County do no gooders or something like that. They're not an NFL team right now. But the Broncos playing at the Chargers. Chargers favored by 5 points. I'm going with the Chargers here. Broncos aren't that good. Bradley Chubb is out for the year with a blown ACL. So all you have is Von Miller in your pass rush. They were already didn't have that many sacks, so the offense ain't doing squat. If you have Keenan Allen in your lineups on fantasy football, make sure you start them because they're going to be moving the ball up and down the field on these Broncos, and they're going to get after. They're going to be on Joe Flacco's head. I'm going with the Chargers in this game. Packers playing Packers playing at those Dallas Cowgirls. Both teams 3-1. Dallas is favored by 4 points at Jerry World. My thoughts on this: two good teams. Dallas, they got a message sent to them last year, last game playing against the Saints. They lost 12-10 in their first test of the year. And I said, who have they played this year? They played the Washington, they played the Giants, and they played the Dayton County do-no-gooders. Who did they really play that they had to worry about offensively? Nobody. And this was before Daniel Jones was in the game. They were playing Brother Eli. So you went up against a competent team for the first time this year without Drew Brees, and you lost 12-10. Not saying that you didn't get challenged, but it just shows that they're not world beaters. And they have a tough test against the Packers at Jerry World, but I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. I think that the Eagles exposed the Packers defense last week by running the ball down their throats. I'll tell you one thing. There's nothing more demoralizing than somebody doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you knowing you can't stop it. The Eagles ran the same run play at least 2 or 3 times in a row, and they got 10, 8, 15 yards a pop. There's nothing worse as a defense knowing that I can't do squat to stop these balls. Dallas is going to run the ball down their throats. Watch them. They're going to run the ball down they doggone throats. And I think that Dallas is, especially with Devontae Adams not being in on offense for the Packers, me and 007 were talking about this, might be a rough game for Green Bay today. I'm going with Dallas, and I hate Dallas, but, I got to be objective on this show. Next game on the docket, the Colts at the Chiefs. The Chiefs favored by 11 at Arrowhead. Damn. I don't know if they're going to cover the spread, but I am picking the Chiefs to win this game. The Colts have been better than expected, and like I thought with Jacoby, he ain't Andrew Luck, but he ain't bad either. But I don't know if he's going to be good enough to beat Patrick Mahomie, out in Arrowhead. So I'm going with the Chiefs in this game, maybe by a touchdown, something like that. And then, before I talk about the Rams Seahawks game, let me get into the Browns playing at the 49ers. I know you want to hear about this, Chris. Your 49ers are 3-0 playing at, I don't know if they play at Candlestick anymore, but they're favored by 5 points against the Browns. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think that the Browns are still a growing team. They have a good run game, just like Ryan said in the comments. Nick Chubb has showed that he's ascending as a running back. He's a very good running back. They obviously have weapons with OBJ and then Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield. He's growing. I don't know if he's reached his ceiling, but still a very good quarterback. But these 49ers, they're quietly having a good year. The defense is quietly having a good year, and Jimmy Garoppolo, what has he been, like 6-0 or 6-1 last year, and then he's been 3-0 this year. When he's healthy, he's for real, dog. Jimmy Garoppolo is no joke, and he's leading this team. He's showing that he was worth every penny that they spent trading for him. So I had the 49ers winning this game probably by a touchdown. I think they probably will cover the spread in this game. And lastly, before the Eagles, let me get to this Rams Seahawks game. And I mean, I was watching this game not only because I have Russell Wilson on my fantasy team, but because I thought this was going to be a really good game. It was the divisional game, the 5th one of this fucking week, and it was a barn burner, man. They went into Seattle Stadium, and they came out to win. The Rams, they ultimately couldn't get it done, but they probably should have won that game if not for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, low-key, probably the leading candidate for the MVP trophy this year. He's just every week he's like putting up 3 or 4 touchdowns, and every decision he makes is not a wrong one. He's so I hated playing this dude as an Eagles fan because he's a running quarterback that always knows when to slide, when to get out of bounds, always makes a good throw. He makes good decisions. He won't lose the game for you, and he could definitely win the game for you with his arm. And he went out there, he was slinging it, man. And the Rams, they were so close, man. That field goal, here's the post. It went just, I think this is your view, just to the right, just wide right. And I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like to lose like that on the last second, because they came back down the field to get in the field goal position after I thought they would lose. Man, that was a really good game. It was a really good game. And hopefully Thursday Night Football become hopefully they take that and run with it in terms of momentum, having good games like that, because those are the type of games that are going to make people tune in on Thursday night. And just like you had the Eagles Packers game the week before that, and then you had this game. It's almost like the way boxing has been. Boxing and Thursday Night Football have been slowly coming into relevance with good fights and good games. And if you keep up that momentum, people will watch. If you put on a good product, the people will come to watch the games. They will come to watch the fights. So, man, that was a really good game. Let me know your thoughts on that game. And then I actually picked the Seahawks to cover the spread, and they did me dirty because the spread was 2.5 points. All they needed to do was make that 2-point conversion, which they almost had, and they missed it. They could have won by 3 points and covered the spread for me, but all in all, it was a very good game. Now on to what we came for: the Eagles versus the Jets, whatever. Playing in Philadelphia. The Jets 0-3, a Sam Darnold-less Jets team. He's still out with mononucleosis. It's like, dude, you're 23. How did you get mono? Anyways, all they have is Le'Veon. Matter of fact, let's call them the Le'Veon Bells right now. And he's a great running back, but that's what their offense consists of right now. Robbie Anderson, he hasn't been a factor, but he will be today because that Eagles secondary is banged up. The Eagles are favored by 14 freaking points, man. 14 points. That is the second highest line outside of the Patriots and the Foreskins. So, I mean, they really think the Jets are going to get washed this game. I don't know. Yeah, the Jets are in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot. And they have CJ Mosley out on defense. So their leaders on offense and defense, Sam Darnold at quarterback, and then their defensive leader, CJ Mosley. Without CJ Mosley, they are not the same defense. They have Jamal Adams and then nothing at all. The Eagles are starting to get healthy. Deshaun isn't back, but you still have Alshon Jeffrey another week healthier. Dallas Goedert another week healthier, along with Aguilar. And they're gonna run the ball, they're gonna pass the ball, they're gonna go to the Zach. It hurts me so bad, hurts, and they're gonna move. They're gonna move the ball. I don't know if they covered the 14-point spread, but I see them winning by probably 10 points. This is going to be a tough game for the Jets on the road in Philadelphia. And sorry to the Jets fans at my job, but yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles in this game. Let me know what you guys think about that. Those are the games for this week. We'll see how this turns out, but that's my thoughts on that. So I covered the Triple G Derevyanchenko fight. Look back to the first part of this video for that. I covered the blue and white scrimmage yesterday at the Sixers facility, which is it was a great experience. First off, if you get a chance to go down there for some of the preseason games, you should do it. Or go down for some of the Delaware Blue Coats games, which we're going to be there this season and covering that team and seeing some of the rookies. Tybo looked very good, the rookie pick this year for the Sixers. And then I covered week 5 for the NFL action. So that's it for this episode. Let me know your thoughts, your concerns, your comments in the section below. Thank you for tuning in. That's all I have for this week. And we're gonna get to these damn games and see what it's about. So next episode, I will be getting more into the Flyers because I'm excited to see what they're doing. It's the first time we won an opening day game in a long fucking time, so it's very good to see. Hopefully, a sign of more good things to come. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy the damn games. Peace.